What is going on, guys? Welcome to FTV Family Time Vlogs. Today we have a special vlog for you, but I do want to give you a couple disclaimers and talk about it before we jump into it. As you can tell by the title, when we were in Wildwood for spring break, we reached out to Randy. He wasn't officially open yet, opening very soon. But I reached out to him. I said, Randy, I have a lot of people commenting on my videos for Wildwood that I should go see Randy's arcade and talk to you. Luckily enough, he agreed to have a little talk with us, and it went well. We did have it in his arcade, so there you will hear arcade noises here and there. Also, I would love to show you the full unedited talk, which was like over an hour long. I had to break it down into pieces, and sometimes there's just a little bit too much personal information from both of our aspects that maybe wouldn't fit, and amongst other things, just for privacy reasons, to keep it flowing and make it make sense. And there's two main things that I was really wondering about that could have changed Wildwood. It was the omnibuses that he got from Disney, and if you guys are Disney fans, you know about these omnibuses, and he bought two of them for Wildwood, and I want to know what happened with the omnibuses. Like, I knew he was going to do tours and whatnot, and nothing ever happened. He also bought a big department store at one point in the middle of the original downtown Wildwood, and he wanted to open it as a museum of all, like, artifacts from, like, arcade history. It never opened, even though they really were trying to open it, and he's still trying to open to this day. So, I might be pausing the videos here and there to give you a little bit more insight. With that being said, the first thing, right off the bat, I had to ask him about the omnibuses. Let's go.
Yes, I do have two Walt Disney World omnibuses, and that is a rarity. People who know what Walt Disney World is know how rare that is. There were supposedly 6 of these made, and eventually, a few years down the line, the World Showcase transportation was discontinued. Right. So the omnibuses were discontinued at Epcot, and they basically had them a little bit in an unused situation for a few years. Somewhere along the line, somebody got the idea that maybe they don't need all the omnibuses anymore, and what are they going to do with them? And I had some contacts, and I knew somebody, and I was able to buy 2 of the Main Street Omnibuses. I call them the Main Street Omnibuses because I worked Main Street operations for the Magic Kingdom, and I drove those buses as part of the many things that we did on Main Street. And I drove them up and down Main Street myself. And the 2 that I have, I actually got to drive at Disney 40 years ago. I was not going to be permitted to give people rides around town. Why? I mean, I don't understand. Well, first they told me, I went in, I said, what kind of license do I need for this? And I'm not talking about motor vehicle license. I already had them licensed and registered with the state. Right. That was no problem. Had my insurance. So what do I need from the city? And the city said, we don't have a license category for that. Then they said, well, we'll have to, have a special meeting with the mayor and see what they can, do to work this out, whatever. So we had a meeting, all the department heads and the mayor, and again, I'm trying to say they don't have a category for that. And the mayor said, well, we'll have to create one, and it'll take several meetings and several sit-downs and readings, how they go through this process, which would kill the summer. So I says, well, I'll tell you what, I'll give people rides, and I won't charge them. And they said, well, you still need a license. I says, no, I don't. I says, because if I wanted to give people rides in my car, I could do that, and these are my personal vehicles, owned and titled to me personally, so I can give anybody I want to rides, right, but I can't charge them. Now, they could give me tips, they could give me donations, right, if they wanted to, but people aren't apt to do that, and there is expenses with running it. We did get open on the boardwalk. It kind of became a moot situation because I couldn't be in 2 places at the same time. And since I would be the only one allowed to drive the buses as the owner, it's not like I could have somebody else do it. Yeah. I had to be here at the arcade, and the buses basically took a back seat for that summer. I did all the area Christmas parades, and I did them up very, very Disney-like, and I had, you know, Randy mannequins dressed in Disney costumes and Disney music playing, you know, making the parade, doing it just with the same flair that I would do if I was working right then and there at Walt Disney World. I brought the magic to the people here. So 1,000 miles away from the main gate, you found Disney magic right on the streets here in Wildwood, in Cape May, in Lower Township, in Upper Township. I did that a couple years, and the parade had a lot of bands and cheerleading groups that would kind of go for like an acknowledgement and a prize in front of a judge's stand, which is fine, except they would give them 3 minutes to perform. Well, each 3 minutes you stop and perform, the parade now has a big gap of 3 minutes. You do that times 10 people, that's 30 minutes. You do it times 20 people, that's an hour. And being towards the back of the parade, because they do all the local people who they know first up front, I'm literally having to constantly stop and race the motor to keep the generators going, to keep my lights going. And the omnibus is an old-fashioned stick shift. It's very taxing on the bus, the clutch, me, the whole deal like that. And after 2 years of that, I said, you know, maybe it's time not to do the parades for a little bit. So this year that just passed, I didn't do the parades, and probably next year I'll do it again, but I'm going to look for some different towns.
I don't know about you, but that was awesome to hear. I really wish I was able to see the omnibuses in the parade. I wish the omnibuses were still there. I wish they were able to make tours happen. I mean, that would have been awesome. Started talking, and I'm like, Randy, I kind of vaguely remember you on Hoarders from a while ago, and you didn't really come across as a hoarder to me, but more of like a collector that needed help showing everything to the world. So he got to talking, and he was telling me about like all these things from Disney history that he has, from parks to shows to rides, and he has them all at this museum. He actually does videos for him on YouTube, so I did link his YouTube channel, and you'll be able to find like a playlist and then just search for the Disney titles that you want. But a lot of interesting stuff on there, and he was saying how he has them all. Let's hear him talk about this place he was trying to open up in Wildwood, other than the arcade that he has. Let's go.
In the mid-'80s, they redid the Contemporary, and they pulled them out, and they changed to fluorescent strips. I purchased them all at Property Control. I have them. All the ones that survived, a lot of them they broke when they took them out, but I have hundreds of them, and they're all over my ceiling at my building down in the center of town called Randyland, which is an old Woolworths department store, which when I bought that, I saw the Emporium, because Pacific Avenue was the main street, actual main street, like from the day of Wildwood. So this area was ready for a resurgence. And I saw creating my building there as Randyland being the hub. I wanted to buy the 5 and 10. There used to be an old G.H. Murphy's store across the street. I wanted to connect with a pedestrian bridge across the top, making it like Church Street Station. That whole area would have developed because I would have brought people to the area. And that is not only a commercial zone, it's commercial entertainment. I've owned that building for over 25 years, and I've never been allowed to open to the public. It's not a permitted use.
Wow.
Really, it's not a permitted use. It's commercial zone. It's commercial entertainment. Oh, but you can't do that. You can't have an arcade anywhere other than on the boardwalk.
Oh.
Really? So I carry the magic beyond the gate, and I bring it to what I do here on the boardwalk. And this is the same thing.
Yeah.
I create the magic for others to experience.
Yeah.
Now, how long can I do it? My time's growing short. I'm 64. I don't have another 20 years.
Right.
How long? I don't know. I do it as long as I can. But unfortunately, my world and my creation of all the things I have collected and preserved, if they don't fall under a foundation of a preservation museum that's under a state organization or some major corporation that can keep it alive when I'm gone, if that doesn't happen before I'm gone, it's all going to get sold in an estate sale, or people not knowing what it is, thrown in a dumpster, and it's all going to be lost. It's going to be a judgment on the people who did not allow it to create while I was here to do it.
I got to give this guy credit at this point. He definitely has a vision, and it's a shame it's not able to fruition, whether it be logistical, political, or statistical. It would have been awesome to see. All the things he was telling me he has and all the things he wants to share is interesting to a lot of people. So then we got to talking one more time, and I said, Randy, I'm going to be honest with you. I never really go this far down on the boardwalk for whatever reason. So I never kind of been here. I always either missed it or I just don't come down this far. But then he's like, let me tell you what this place is about and let me show you around. So one more time, let's let Randy take it over.
I've done many places on the boardwalk in Wildwood over the 30 years I've been here. The theme here was to be in tribute and honor to the places that were from Wildwood. So as you see here, this street sign with Jungle Land and Hunts Pier and Casino Pier and Sportland Pier and Olympic Fascination, these are iconic places that were in Wildwood back in their day. The heyday of Wildwood. Hunts Pier was like a Disneyland here in Wildwood. You had the pirate ship, you had Jungle Land, which was just like the Jungle Cruise, but not as elaborate as Disney. But there's things here that are from Hunts Pier. Like if you look up there, you'll see the fluorescently painted cuckoo clock with the monster fox that would jump out at the face from you. The door next to it, which is just like the Haunted Mansion, the door bends and the doorknob is going back and forth. The spider in his cage, the ghouls over here. These are all from Hunts Pier, and there's far more of these things that were actual props and things used in the rides and at Hunts Pier and other piers too, from Sportland Pier, Casino Pier. You'd have to walk over here to see a little more, but like these jeeps up here are from Safari ride. That was on Casino Pier.
On Casino Pier.
The lady being cut in half on the saw. She actually slides back and forth as the saw goes right through her. These things are all not from Dracula's Castle, but the same vintage, the same era. You know, the lady here, she would hang from chains by a Jungle Land. That's where her wrist, I guess she would hang it by the guy with the big soup pot, the cannibalism. The lunatic lady up there, she would turn around in a rocking chair and she would scare you. These are from the Wacky Shack. The books, you would see books like this in a Haunted Mansion at Disney. The books move back and forth and they rock at you. The snakes. I mean, these snakes are probably from the Golden Nugget. You see that?
Yeah.
You see these devils over here? Does it remind you of Mr. Toad's Wild Ride? Well, they're not from Mr. Toad. This is from Hunts Pier. It's the Wacky Shack. These are cars, actual vehicles from the ride where you sat in. There's more of them. There's 2 more over there. I have 3 more at my other place. This particular fascination system was on this boardwalk for almost 50 years. Imagine this. Now, they came from Olympic Park, which was in Irvington. Now, if you're a Disney fan, you might think that sounds a little familiar. Olympic Park in Irvington. Guess what? The carousel in Fantasyland at the Magic Kingdom came from Olympic Park in Irvington. Disney bought it when the park closed. They took it for the opening of the Magic Kingdom for '71. They refurbished it all. It became Cinderella's Golden Carousel. Now, what is it, King Arthur's or something like that? They changed the name.
Yeah.
But to me, it'll always be Cinderella's Golden Carousel because that's from my era. Well, Olympic Park had fascination. And when the park closed in, I think, 65, if it wasn't 65, it was 66, they closed and they opened up here in Wildwood in 1968. So they closed after almost 50 years of operation, and I purchased it to preserve it. Now, I've been running the particular game known as Fascination since I am a little kid. I was a player when I was 11. Same year I started when I was going to Disney World. When I was 18, I had my first Fascination store on the boardwalk in Keensburg Amusement Park. There's 32 player positions. This system is actually a 56 player system. I didn't have room to run them all here. I have them, but a system varies in the amount of PlayStations. The one from Massachusetts is a 64. It's big. The reason I made the pilgrimage, I needed another fascination system, like a hole in the head. It makes 8. 8 systems, but I bought it because it had a very long heritage. I found that 16 of those 64 machines were the original prototypes of the fascination machines ever made. They first were in Coney Island, New York, and they were made before 1931.
Wow.
The patent came out in 31. They were pre-patent. Then they got their insignia on it. They built more to add to it in 1939 to make it 64. Then they moved to Massachusetts. But by buying those machines, I have the original prototypes of the machines. So this is a very, very important game. It made its big World's debut at the World's Fair in Chicago in 1933. Let me show you something up front you'll get a kick out of. We were talking about Hunt's Pier,
Right.
and we were talking about Disney. Well, remember Disney had Jungle Land?
Yep.
Hunt's Pier had Jungle Land. The hippos, these hippos are from Hunt's Pier's Jungle Land, their jungle ride. Remember? Oh, there's the hippo coming up. He's blowing bubbles and wiggling his ears. There's my hippos. Here's my alligators. Play the jungle game. Jungle Land. I love my little tribute to Disney.
Yeah.
Skippers see Trader Sam.
I know, yeah, I like that.
And you know, to give tribute to the steam train.
In closing, I want to first and foremost thank Randy for opening his doors, letting us come in, talking to us for so long, and sharing so much insight with us. It was great. And I'm honored to be able to share. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed watching. Memorial Day weekend coming soon. MDW, Wildwood, we're coming back. Best believe I'll be visiting Randy. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Randy. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.
You know, they can see that stuff on my YouTube channel because we do that. Every Friday there's a release. You know, it's easy to find my YouTube channel. You know what it's called? Main Street, because I worked on Main Street Randyland. All one word, Main Street Randyland. And there's many things to shoot for, you know, different videos, but there's different playlists. If you go to the Randy's Collection series, we do that every Friday, and most of those are shot right over at Randyland, and some of them are shot right here.